In this video, I go over my top 10 list for New Comic Book Day, May 12th, 2021. What's going on, guys? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. Take a moment, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Appreciate you taking the time to do so. I am really excited because this is my very first New Comic Book Day top 10 list that I'm bringing to you guys. These are the top 10 books that I'm looking forward to for May 12th of 2021. And again, I should clarify, these are my personal picks that I'm really excited for. These are the ones I will prioritize in buying. I'm going to do this order backwards. I'll go from 10 down to 1 of just some of my favorite books. I will say there were like 15 or 16 books that I really wanted to get this week. So I had to really narrow it down, and it gets pretty tough. So, but I'm curious what you guys think of this list when I go through it. So make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below as well. Other than that, let's get started. Number 1 on the list, we are talking about Silver City. This caught my attention just from the artwork alone. I did a little bit of reading into, what it's about, and it seems really interesting. Basically about a girl who, she dies and she finds herself in this place called Silver City, which is basically a purgatory. So she's, on a mission to kind of figure out why she's there, how she died, how she got there. But meanwhile, when she does, her little mission that she's going on kind of gets thrown for a loop when she runs into someone else who is newly dead, and she has to save that person. And then from there, I'm not really sure where it goes. So I'm really excited to kind of see a little bit more detail as to where this goes. Let's see, it's Aftershock, which I should also point out, anything Aftershock puts out, I just automatically buy, because the past 3 months, the things that they've been putting out, I'm just such a huge fan of. So it's gotten to the point now where I tell everybody, Aftershock stuff, buy issue number 1, give it a shot, because most likely it's amazing. So that's where I stand with Aftershock, and that's where I stand with Silver City as my number 10 choice of the week. Let's go to number 9. Let's see here. We have Time Before Time, issue number 1. This is another one that, again, not familiar with. Obviously, it's just coming out. So I was actually talking to my buddy, I Got Issues, aka Chris, over on Instagram. He was telling me a little bit about this. So it's really interesting. Basically takes place in the future, where you're able to pay the mob to bring you back in time to live a better life if you pay them enough money, at least from what I was reading here on this description here. So yeah, it takes place in 2140 is the year. So this is an image book, and that's what it is. They'll smuggle you back in time for a better life. So that alone just kind of caught my attention. I'm really interested in it. So definitely going to check that out. I think those 2 on my list are both issue number 1. So those are brand new reads that are coming out. So I do recommend checking those out. I'm a big fan, especially with indie stuff. I'm a big fan of picking up issue number 1s, just to explore it, because you never know when you're going to find the next Saga or the next Walking Dead, or, any of these big named indie titles that have really blown up. So really looking forward to it. And yeah, that's my number 9 on the list. Let's see, number 8, we are going with Proctor Valley Road, and I have to say this probably is a little low on my list. It is a really good story. I'm really enjoying it. Grant Morrison, Alex Child doing the work here. Really just, loving everything about it. It kind of gives me that Stranger Things vibe, about these kids who are causing trouble. They essentially had these 4 girls went out into this desert, which was Proctor Valley Road, which turns out to be essentially haunted. They invite these boys out there to go with them. They're trying to make some money so that they can go to Janis Joplin concert. So they were trying to give this like spooky tour and charging money for it, essentially. Meanwhile, the guys thought that they were just gonna like hook up with the girls, and that wasn't the case at all. So but anyways, those guys, and this is all from like issue 1, those guys were kind of left in the desert. No one knows what happened to them. The girls don't even know what happened to them. They're kind of in trouble now. The town's kind of put them on lockdown. They're supposed to stay out of trouble, but they don't. Issue 2, they don't. So this is issue number 3. Really excited about this. And that's just kicking off my number 8. Let me clarify too. These next couple books, they all could be like in the number 5 range. It was just really hard to like put them in a specific order. So Proctor Valley Road, it's number 8, but it could easily be number 5 as well. let's see, we're going into my number 7 pick, which is Carmen, issue number 3. I am really, really enjoying this. This is definitely a book that is just a different angle at comic books and storytelling in general. So it's essentially about a girl who takes her life. And a heavy topic for Gillian March, who's writing this and doing the artwork. And essentially, she's found herself in this purgatory type situation where she meets Carmen, who is this kind of like ghost or this skeleton chick that kind of shows her the ropes. She shows her around. She's not really sure why she's here, but Carmen kind of shows her the way. And along the way, she kind of discovers some things where she can still see the people in real life, but they can't see her. But she starts to discover some things about her friends and her loved ones around her, which kind of triggered and reminded her why she did what she did in the first place. So really interesting story, very heavy, but I do really enjoy where this is going. So definitely recommend it. That is my number 7 on the list. Let's see, going in at number 6, this was another great one. This is Batman the Detective, issue number 2. This is by Tom Taylor, and let me just clarify, anything that Tom Taylor puts out, I'm buying. 100%. He's just, ever since Nightwing 78, which I just can't stop talking about, I've just decided I will give it Tom Taylor a shot on anything that he puts out there. In fact, I even want to go back and read some of the older stuff of Tom Taylor because I really enjoyed what he's done for Nightwing. So this is issue number 2, Batman the Detective. I really enjoyed number 1. Kind of kicked things off where Batman goes to London. It all takes place outside of Gotham. And, there's this plane that's in trouble where all these people that were on it were set to die. Someone like planned this, right? And it turns out that Batman did some research, and these people on the plane, they all had one thing in common. And that one thing in common is that they were all people that Batman has previously saved at some point in their life. So they all have that in common. So now Batman has to just figure out, one, he saves these people, but also he has to start to figure out, like, who planned this? What do they want? What are they trying to do? Also, Batman does have a teammate that's involved from issue number 1, so I won't get into the details there, but I definitely recommend it. Also, Andy Kubert is doing the artwork, and I love the artwork from Andy Kubert. So that was another reason that sold me. So I will be picking this up. I think it's only a 5-issue miniseries, so not too much that you have to really commit to otherwise, but definitely enjoyed the first issue, and I will be getting the second one. Let's see. Coming in at number 5, we are going to go to Boom Studios here with Magic the Gathering. And let me clarify, I'm a huge fan of Magic the Gathering. I used to play all the time, really enjoyed that game. I tried to play at like a semi-high competitive level at one point. That's how much I enjoyed it. So really excited that Boom Studios picked this up. Jed McKay's doing the writing on this. This is issue number 2. So, we already established issue number 1. It's about these planeswalkers, which I should clarify, I don't know if you necessarily need to know the details beforehand. I think that you're okay to just dive into this, even if you didn't know Magic the Gathering. It probably does help a little if you know some history, but ultimately it's, Dungeons and Dragons kind of vibes. You don't need to know too much about the details. So there's wizards, there's goblins, there's dragons, and all these other things. And there's these things called planeswalkers, which are kind of like these wizards of a certain sort. But issue number 1, there's a few of them that were almost killed. There was this assassination that was planned by we don't know who. So these planeswalkers who normally live off on their own terms, they've come together now ever since this attempt on their lives, and now they have to figure out who's doing it, who's behind this, and what they're going to do about it. So really enjoyed the first issue and the artwork and everything. Definitely recommend. This is issue number 2, easy to catch up on. The cover artwork too, by the way. I know there was a lot of covers for issue number 1, but I loved all of it. Maybe it's a little nostalgia too. I should mention that. But anyways, that's Magic the Gathering, issue number 2. Let's see. Going down at number 4 on my list, I have Joker, issue number 3. And man, oh man, am I loving the Joker series. It is so good. So good. And let me clarify. There have been a lot of speculation on issue number 2 because we get some hints of a character cameo, so on and so forth. But I wish that wasn't a thing because this was just a great read in general. I hope that you can get a copy of issue 1 and 2 if you get a chance. Catch up now while it's still early for this series. It is all about Jim Gordon, actually. There's a lot more focus on Jim Gordon these first 2 issues, kind of developing his story of this offer that was presented to him where he can make a lot of money if he takes out the Joker. It's kind of the gist of it. So he has to get Batman on his side, and Batman doesn't know that Jim's plan here, he has to actually kill the Joker. That's the thing. You can't just bring him into justice. So really excited about this. This is James Tynion writing, doing the writing as well. So I think that's also why I'm really sold on this. I've been loving everything that James Tynion has been doing. Sign me up all day. I will take that. So that's my number 4, going with Joker issue number 3. Okay, coming in at number 3, we have Geiger issue number 2. And let me just say, Geiger, oh man, this has been such just a really great opening issue. Issue number 1. This is Jeff Johns, by the way. I think this is all Image. Let me see. Yeah, this is Image. Image Comics doing this, and Jeff Johns just doing some awesome work, some awesome world building in issue number 1. Basically, I feel like it's let's see, it's like Ghost Rider meets Rambo kind of style, and it all takes place in the future, right? So basically we're in this world now where there's radiation everywhere. You can't go out without having a suit on of some sort that'll protect you from the radiation. And a lot of food and materials are now scarce. And basically they try to go into this one town that's kind of been off limits. And the reason it's been off limits is because Geiger's been there. He lives there. And there's all these myths and legends about Geiger where people don't really know what the deal is with him. He's almost like this ghost that doesn't exist until you run into him, and he does exist. But he's the good guy, and he just wants to be left alone. He's protecting this one location that he knows his family's in, this bunker that he told them never come out of, basically. And this is now taken like 10 or 20 years later. So he's like hoping for a day where they open up and, he can be, rejoined with his family. But in the meantime, he's just been protecting this whole city, basically. And when, scavengers come through, he basically like scares them off or battles them, fights them off. And it's a really badass dude who, by the way, I should note, that has no effect. He doesn't have any effect to the radiation, so he doesn't need to wear a suit. Like I said, kind of like this Ghost Rider Skull type vibe. So, but anyways, Geiger issue number 2. That is my number 3 on the list. Highly recommend Geiger. Let's see. Down to 2 last books right here. This is issue number 4 of Maniac of New York. That's my number 2 on the list. Maniac of New York. It's another Aftershock book. I've already mentioned Aftershock's been killing it, loving everything that they do. This book right here, I know Andres Muti's doing the artwork. I absolutely love this artwork. And then there's Elliot Collin, who's doing the actual writing itself. And if you like it's straight up a horror type vibe, right? There's a lot of blood, a lot of gore. It reminds me of Jason. If you like that vibe, I definitely recommend this. It has a really good story for it, where basically in 2016, during the ball drop in New York City, this guy who they call Harry comes in with a machete and just kills a bunch of people over at the New York City ball drop. From that point on, no one can catch him. It's 4 years later now. There's a whole government section dedicated to trying to capture this guy, and they've never done it. I don't know if it's like a mystical thing or he's got magic of some sort, but every time he shows up, he murders people and then he's gone. So there's these 2 detectives that are on the case, and what I really like about this is you learn more about their struggles and a little bit more of their history of like what they've gone through to get to where they are, and how they're going to catch this guy Harry, how they're going to bring him to justice, and how they're going to save more people, because as of right now, all we see is a lot of death, a lot of blood, but it is a wild ride. So definitely recommend this. This is issue number 4, so not too late to jump on board. Highly recommend it. So that's my number 2 pick on the list. Before I get into number 1, please again take a moment, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Appreciate you guys watching, taking the time to watch this top 10 video list that I'm putting together. I will say, if you don't see a book on here and you think that I left it out, or maybe I'm missing out and I just haven't been reading it, let me know in the comment section below. In fact, if you disagree with certain books on here and you think there should be something else on here, write to me in the comment section and say, Justin, you're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy. And then let me know what book is or should be on here that I may have left off. I know we still have one more book to go, but I'm very curious because I'm always looking for new stuff to read. And like I said, there were 15 or 16 books I wanted to put on this list. I had to condense it down to 10. It was tough. and then even harder to put it in this order. But the one I didn't have a problem with is this issue number 1 that I didn't have a problem making as my number 1 list. So, sorry, it's issue number 5 for my number 1 pick. So my number 1 pick is Scout's Honor, and that is, again, another Aftershock book. Just loving everything that the publisher Aftershock's been doing. This is David Pepose, and I have to say, judging by like the cover and the general premise of this book, I never thought that I would care to get into a book like this. It's kind of a post-apocalyptic type vibe. It takes place in the future. These people are surviving on what was written by somebody right before the war. And it's really like a Boy Scout type level of, what's the word? It's really like a Boy Scouts honor type of vibe, like things that you would learn. And it's really like a Boy Scout type of vibe, like things that you would learn from Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. And that's stuff I never like grew up with. I was never really involved with anything like that. So that was partially why I thought I wasn't going to get into this. But the way that David Pepose writes the story, you care about the characters so much, especially the main character. There's a lot of little twists and turns and things that really you got to pay attention to, because I missed it on the first read around for issue number 1. But anyways, this is issue number 5. I believe that they're closing things out here because this is not an ongoing series, at least not this first go around. So hopefully we get more of this, but the world that David Pepose has kind of created, I really, really like, and I hope that we get more of it. So that is my number 1 on the list, Scout's Honor, number 5. Guys, if you're not reading that, I can't say it enough. Please go check it out. Don't judge a book by its cover. Dive into it. And like I said, I'm obsessed with it now. Never thought I would be based on what I thought this was about, but I was totally wrong. So there you have it, guys. That's my top 10 for New Comic Book Day for May 12th, 2021. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to be continuing to try to keep up with these from week to week. So really excited to kind of go on this new journey, putting out this new information. So I hope it helps. Like I said, leave a comment in the comment section below if you guys agree with this list, if you think I missed out on something or I forgot something. Let me know what that title is. Maybe I'm not reading it and I need to jump on that quick. So yeah, just to clarify again, these are all just things that I'm excited for, things that I'm buying and looking forward to week in and week out. So until next time, I appreciate all you guys. Remember, this is a great time to be reading comic books. I really do believe we are living in this time period where everything is just that's being putting out is just incredible. So, and also note, my last 3 books were all independent. So that's something interesting as well. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. So appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. And until next time, I will talk to you later.